the way that my dad would explain it is when a weaver is done with her weaving and she hands it over to you, these weavings have prayers, it has songs, and it has medicine. And this is what I'm offering to you and I'm handing over to you.
Well, hello, everyone. I'm Rachel with Artisans of Nations, a storytelling platform dedicated to honoring Indigenous arts and culture. And it's been a real joy and honor to be here in Sovereign Santa Fe at La Fonda on the Plaza during the 2025 Santa Fe Indian Market season, and it's been an awesome weekend so far, full of events. I'm sure that you've been experiencing it as well. I am super grateful to have our next guest with us, and she is one very close and dear to my heart, and I'm very honored to introduce to you a third-generation Navajo weaver, Tasheena Littleben.
Oh, thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Rachel. So just an introduction about myself. Yat e she e Tasheena Littleben Yinashia. Asha e Nishlin, Kinyanye Bashashin, Twitch e ni Dashache do, Petahni Dashanella. Sen Sades aha dan Nashan, the Equat Algo the Nest on Nishlin. Hello, everyone. My name is Tasheena Littleben. I am from the Red Okarchi clan. I am born for, I'm sorry, I forgot the English translation, Towering House clan, and my maternal grandfather is Bitterwater, and my paternal grandfather is Folding Arms clan. And I'm from Rock Point, Arizona, and this is what makes me a Diné woman.
It's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that with us. Well, I have always been super drawn to your weavings. I found Tasheena on Instagram through a mutual friend, but this is more for her to shine and share her story with you. So how did you begin weaving?
I've been weaving for as long as I can remember. I am a third-generation weaver, so I was pretty much just born into it. It was a source of income for my mom, and so this was just something that she did day in and day out. And so I feel like just from being around her and being next to her on the loom, and just observing, I kind of took it all in. And my grandmother, my Nalestan, she is now in her late 80s, and she just retired her flock of sheep.
Wow.
So, I grew up my whole life being her neighbor and just observing her dedication day in and day out. And, that she's my biggest inspiration, because to me that she embodied this lifestyle that now I feel like it's you don't find Navajo, Diné people living like that anymore, like living off of the land and living in harmony with the elements and nature in our surroundings. And that's why she is my inspiration.
So how does that inform and influence your weaving?
Well, I feel like when I went back into weaving as an adult, it was a whole new perspective. So I really wanted to, if I was going to take on this weaving and this journey, I really wanted to start from the beginning. So from the beginning was, the origin story of Spider Woman. And she was a person that we consider as a deity, because she was a holy person that was, that embodied that Hojon lifestyle, which is to live in harmony with nature and to use the elements and to create a weaving out of those elements and her surroundings. And so, going back to weaving as an adult, I really wanted to step into the footsteps of my ancestors and really, just understand what they experienced as well. So I felt like it was my responsibility to also learn the part where, like these girls are doing right now, is carding. And that was actually a tradition in the family. Everyone had a job and a part. So what they're doing now is just cleaning the fibers, and they're brushing out the hair, and then from that process, it gets spun into with my spindles. So everything is done manual by hand. Nothing, no machines are used, and I was also never taught how to use natural dyes or to do this whole process. This was something that I felt like it was coming from me.
Wow.
And went to Rock, Fort Defiance, and took some classes on natural dyes, and it was a really cool experience. And I think it's just beautiful, the colors that Mother Earth can provide to us. And so, that I really try to use in my weavings. And I know, like, most times it's almost impossible to put so much time into it and have to live in this modern world, because I also have a full-time job as well. So, I don't practice it every day because I do live in the city. But right now, what I am practicing is using commercial dyed yarn. There is a shop in Gallup, New Mexico that caters to weavers. So I've been able to find just tons and tons of choices in different colors. It's one of my favorite shops to go to. So
that's great.
With that, I'm able to be more expressive and creative, and work with different color schemes. And I then turn those into like saddle blankets, or I do custom woven dresses. I made purses. So I like to kind of step outside the box as well, and just incorporate my life into it and my heart. And so we also have there is a bike somewhere around here. I collaborated with my fiance, and we wanted to pay. Well, actually, our first bike we collaborated on was to pay homage to Spider Woman. So we completely redid a whole beach cruiser bike, and the bike that's on display here now is a Schwinn bike. And so it's kind of like our version of contemporary, and also
cool.
paying homage to the deities in our cultures.
Speaking about your weavings and what goes into them, can you share a little bit more about the process? Even this one that you have next to you, what was this process like? Can you walk us through it?
So I took a really long break from weaving. I was weaving when I was younger, all the way up till, I would say, like from 7 to 12. And I took about a 20-year break. And when I decided to come back home during 2020, that was when I asked my mom and my dad to set this loom up. And I would say I was pretty ambitious to go with a pretty big size. And this weaving is really special to me because during my whole weaving journey, I would, meet other Diné families that had told me that they wish that they could have something of their grandmother. And, unfortunately, their grandmother had to pay, and support for the family. So those weavings were sold. And, who knows where they're at now. But I decided to keep this one for my son so that he could keep it in the family. And, I keep my legacy going, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And my mom and my grandmother's legacy.
Can you tell us about the design itself? And
So when I decided to weave, my mom, because she's a weaver, she already had all the supplies, and she had all this stock of yarn that she had just kind of stored away. And so I just went through her stock of yarn and picked out the colors that spoke to me. And I kind of had envisioned this color scheme in my mind, and just me being naive, I thought that it was going to turn out exactly how I had it imagined in my head. But, as I was weaving, it really taught me a lot about myself and these similar connections that it has to like life lessons. And for one is to never have expectations. And that was the first lesson.
Wow.
Was, life is not going to turn out the way you expect it to, no matter how much you have it planned out, and you can have the color schemes planned out and all of that. It just doesn't turn out that way.
Yeah.
And so it also taught me that, sitting with yourself, you learn about yourself. Because when you are weaving, you're sitting there for hours, and you're sitting there with your thoughts and your emotions. So it has really taught me a lot about, like frustration and why I was getting so angry. I was impatient. And so I walked away several times, actually, and I almost gave up. Mm. But, my mom just kept pushing me and telling me to keep going. You've already gone this far. And the mistakes that I made, she told me that, it's just human experience to make mistakes. So you can't be so down on yourself about it. But, you can work around it. You can always fix it. And if you want to keep the mistake in there, that you can keep as a reminder to not make those mistakes again.
Wow, that's so profound to have such a valuable lesson being taught through your artwork and through this way of weaving. Is there anything else that has spoken to you or has impacted your life because of your journey with weaving?
I would say that I learned that weaving is very important because it is a meditation practice. Because traditionally, the way it was practiced spiritually. It was a ceremonial practice. And the way that my dad would explain it is when a weaver is done with her weaving and she hands it over to you, it's explained and understood that these weavings have prayers, it has songs, and it has medicine. And this is what I'm offering to you, and I'm handing over to you.
Great. Well, Tasheena will be blessing us with a weaving demonstration. But before we do, can you tell our audience how to find you?
I am on Instagram. I do a lot of commissioned pieces because I like to, from everything that I explain, I like to incorporate prayers or, the personality of the person that I'm weaving for. So I think that is, I feel like, where I do my best work.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing a little bit more about you with our audience. And also, Tasheena, we're so grateful and honored to have her in our inaugural coffee table book that she's featured in, her story about weaving and how it has impacted her life and what she hopes that it'll impact others as well. You can pick up a copy in the back of this Sovereign Santa Fe show area. Yeah, we'll have Tasheena do a weaving demonstration, and she will walk us through her process, and her wonderful, beautiful, cute nieces are here with her, and it's so sweet to see the family heritage and everything that has been a part of your culture, and a generational blessing for sure is what I see in front of me. So thank you for being here. We'll move on to your weaving demo.
This loom I had set up for these girls. So I had them select their own colors that speak to them. And so this is what they've been working on so far. So I'm just going to continue on that, and I'm going to start an eye dazzler pattern, which is the pattern that speaks to me the most. This is what I resonate with, and it just seems to flow a lot better for me, and it allows me to play with different color schemes.
Oh, that's great. Well, we can't wait to see that.
So right now, what you want to do is we're just picking through them and getting the fibers all in one direction. And you're just kind of like brushing it out. And this way you're like breaking it up a little.
You know, I have asked people I'm still trying to understand, that concept. And my dad just tells me to, you make your own weaving songs up. I know some families, they have songs that they passed on through generations, and they'll ask for a trade or for money for it. So I'm waiting for the right time for someone to just, offer it to me. Yeah, for the right reason,
Yes.
So it's a lot of hard work. Are you weavers as well?
My grandmother.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I had all her rugs.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Nice.
When I was little, like at her age, I used to sit with her.
Oh, yeah, and just play.
She used to spin the wool. Yeah. Oh, she used to weave too.
Oh, you did? Did you do the carding and spinning and all of that? Okay. Gonna get some muscles after this. Yeah, my dad told me this was his chore growing up, so all the kids, this was their job to do the carding, and they weren't allowed to go outside and play unless this was done. So when I got back into it, he was my carder. Well, I'm putting you back to work.
Thank you again for joining us here for Artisans of Nations podcast series. We're so grateful and honored to have each of our guests with us for 2 days. It's been an amazing lineup. Wonderful stories, voices, culture, and arts were shared, and it's been an honor. We can't do this without our supporters and community partners, especially to the City of Santa Fe, Office of Economic Development, and the City of Santa Fe Arts and Culture. We are ever so grateful for you and your partnership and all that you do in the City of Santa Fe. With all of that said, please follow us at Artisans of Nations on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, as well as major social media platforms. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for supporting the artists and Indigenous culture. Till next time, keep sharing, keep creating, and keep listening as well. Many blessings and peace.